This is a not tiny tutorial because it's probably going to go over 10 minutes about placing a claim flag and the basics of what you need to know as of August closed beta. There are some changes coming around soon, so I will let you know that on all of my videos where you see the About section on YouTube, you'll see a See More thing that you can click. Click that because I will often put links, since a lot of these I'm covering a lot of information, links back to the Landmark Wikia if you need to slow down and read something. And I also will put any keyboard shortcuts if that's been a major focus of the video, and or I will update any information if something changes radically. So right now what you need to know is when you first log in after you've made your character, you're going to at this time see the gathering list on your screen. That is part of the recipe journal, which I cover in another video, but I'll give you the basics of it right now. So the gathering list is going to tell you the recipe right now for a claim flag, because most people log in and that's the first thing they want to do. They want to stake a claim and they want to start building. So you know how this works. The number that you see here is the number that you can make of a thing once you have the right materials. So right now I have enough to make one claim flag. If you don't know what the heck this is, if you put your mouse over it, it tells you need copper and you need heartwood. The copper is going to be this blobby kind of stuff you see on the ground right now, and it's going to be kind of copper colored. The heartwood, it's a little more complicated to explain trees, but your rule of thumb that I would just say to use right now is look for the larger trees. Typically those are the ones that are going to give you heartwood. So when you first start chopping, it's going to tell you that you're getting logs, and then somewhere in there it's going to tell you you're getting heartwood. Once you have enough, your top number here is how much you have. This is what you need. You can always close this by mousing over there. Okay, now let's go back here and pretend that we are closer in here. Oh goody, I love beta bugs. When you start out, your map will look like this, and you would be in the general vicinity of this doodad, and this is a spire, and this is the way that you can travel. And it also has the crafting station that you need to craft your basic tools and your claim flag. So make a note when you get in where that's at. It's going to be in the center of your map, but that's the spot you need to go back to craft. The other important thing that a lot of people don't know when they start out right now is that you do not have to place your claim or claims on the island that you start on. Right now we have what are called biomes, and everything is divided up into islands, and each island has a mixture of two different biomes. In this case you can see jungle here, or not jungle, tropical. I always call it jungle, but you have tropical here, and you have old forest. Old forest is kind of like the Pacific Northwest of the United States. If you've seen pictures of Redwood National Forest, it's kind of like that, lush dark greens, very big trees. The the tropical is smaller palm trees, but it also has kind of rainforest looking trees, which is why I keep calling it jungle. So that is just two of the options. You can also go to tundra, which is snowy, or desert, which is what it sounds like. So maybe you want to build a castle on a snowy mountaintop. If you land on this island, just so you know, you can always go back to the spire and you can leave and you can go find one with the snowy tundra. Okay? Now, I think that covers that. The next thing you need to know, I have run off here, so let's zoom in here for a moment. You need to know where you can actually put the claim flag. So you open the map with M, and if you check that box, it's going to show or not show claimable land. The red squares that you see, these are areas that are reserved for other players who have placed their claims, and the smaller spots are the opening of cave mouths. Okay, so when you place a claim, I'm going to zoom in so you can see the outline of somebody's claim. When you place a claim, the claim flag gives you what is often called either a main claim or a root claim. I tend to call it a main claim because it's easier for me to remember. So a main claim is essentially the first claim that you're going to put down in an area, so that you say, this is the main area I'm going to build in and then off of. There's something else called an attached claim, which I'll cover in another video, that you can expand the equal amount of space and directions based off of the location of this the very first claim that you place in an area. I'm not going to get into how many claims you can have. See the wikia for that, because that is changing for both. Well, definitely for attached claims, possibly for how many main claims you can have. So, Landmark Wikia, look it up, make sure it's still up to date. My advice, though, is because of the attached claims, even though you can technically bring your main claim right up to this edge, I would at least, until you're familiar with how the attached claims work and how you can experiment and make all kinds of crazy configurations, I would place it away from these other claims. The reason being, because as I said, it's going to be based off of that main claim that you place. And if you place it right here, the more attached claims that we can have, there's going to be a point at which you cannot overlap into this area. The buffer zone itself can go into that area, but your own claims can only kind of overlap with somebody else's so much. This prevents what I call urban sprawl, so you can see this map is crowded. But the buffer zone also acts as a way to allow harvestables like ore and trees to come back into the world, and plants. So within the claim area, you cannot harvest any ore, you cannot chop down any trees, and you cannot get any of the plants in there. That's partially so that people can't camp any resources, but it's also because if anybody could chop down anything, then people could come along and chop down your tree or rip up your claim with their pick, which would just really stink. So you cannot harvest in here, in your own claim or anyone else's, but you can harvest all around. With caves, the caves can be inside the buffer zone because people can still access them, but you cannot put the actual flag right on top of it. This is an overlap area here, so. Okay, I found a spot that I liked. Let's say I hit M again. Perhaps I like this spot, but I'm like, I am not so sure about the view. Maybe I want to look out over this way, and these trees are in my way. Even though you can't harvest them, you can move plants, trees, and rocks once you place a claim, because they will become props at that point. And I will show you that in a moment. Right now, though, we're going to hit I to open the inventory. I'm going to show you quickly the table that you craft your claim flag at will look a bit like this. It's a table with a robot arm. It's called a Tinker's Workshop. So we're going to say I crafted it, which I already did. And now I have the claim flag, and I found my spot. So I'm going to right click. This pops me into a topographical map view. I am at this moment holding down my right mouse button and moving my mouse around. And that's to allow you to see how close you are to the edge of a mountain. So if you wanted to build something with a deck that hung out over the mountain, that helps you see if you've got the right spot. You zoomed out pretty far naturally, and you can zoom in for more detail. But before I do that, I want to show you your flag here does not actually show up when you place it. The flag just tells you what it's basing the height, the natural height of the box on, if you don't do the next thing I'll show you. So it's going to be relative to where that post is, unless you use the scroll wheel to scroll down or up. Okay, now I'm going to scroll in a little by holding down Shift and using my scroll wheel so we can get a little bit more detail for what I'm going to explain next. And that is that if you float your claim up in the air with the scroll wheel, only that little bitty piece of mountain that you can see in there, that's the only thing that you could actually affect within there, because the rest of it is down here below your claim space. It's still useful. Maybe you want to build a very cool floating mage tower, so that might be one choice. You can also scroll down, but what's above that claim space I can't affect. But that works if you want to build something like an underground hidden secret lair. So the natural point is just about there. I will have another video that shows you how deep a claim is, and my recommendation is really get in there, make a mess, and delete everything. So for now, though, let's scroll back in. And when you do this, you can kind of see what's within the area. I'm going to want to show you how to remove trees, so I'm going to make sure I got at least a tree or two within the boundaries. Let's get one kind of out. When I left click, that will ask me if I want to confirm and put the claim here, but it's also going to tell me my rate. You have to pay upkeep. It is based on 24 real world hours right now. And the rate per every 24 hours for each claim that you place is 300 copper, because we don't yet have currency. So I have another claim already, so my current rate is already 300, and my new rate is going to multiply that by 2, and that will be 600. I will show you how the Upkeep Bank works in a moment. So if I'm good with it, I hit confirm, and it places my actual claim. Now, pay your upkeep right away. If you don't, it's going to pack up your entire claim and send you or put your claim flag back in an inventory slot. I'll show that in another video. In an overflow kind of inventory spot, and you'll need it to pull that out in 24 hours. So, first thing you want to do is pay your upkeep. You can hit U, as in unicorn, or use this button to open up claim management. You hit Upkeep Management to get to your bank. It will tell you how much time you have paid up. So I already have 13 days, 12 hours. It will remind you the number of claims you have, and it will tell you your rate per day. And if I had the 600, I could type in 600. And if I did have the 600, I could deposit it, and it would change this to 14 days. Okay, so that's where you find your Upkeep Management. The actual claim boundaries are on by default when you put down your first claim. You can kind of see the outline here. If you go to map view, it's going to be a blue box with the gold line. So that's another way to look at where you are within your space. I recommend only leaving on your claim boundaries when you build, and in fact I would recommend that you turn off any other claim boundaries that you might see when you're running through the world, and you can do that through the options. The reason I do that is it does create a fair amount of lag, and it just, personally, I find it uglies up the space to have all those boxes when you're running by. So on your own claim, you can toggle that on and off easily though, because you've got an information window here, and that button will turn it on and off. So on, off, on, off, on, off, on. Remember how I said you can change or move trees and rocks and plants around? So I've enclosed a few to show you here. If it's fully within your claim space, you get the option to adjust things. So you can right click on it, choose adjust, and you can move them up and down. You can turn them around. You can resize them. If you don't have enough trees or rocks or whatever, you can actually craft those at a tinkerer's workshop right now too. So don't pick your claim based on what trees or plants are around, because you can completely alter it. If you are happy with the location, you click yes or bub right here. If you're not, if you hit X, it's going to return it to how it was previously. You also have the option, if it's within or on the edge of your claim, to delete something. So you can make it go away. I hate these trees. Go away, trees. And they are gone. Hopefully this is on, yeah, this one's on the edge enough. If it's too much on the edge of your claim, your only option is then to delete it. I think that covers this topic. Again, look at my comments below within the About section. Click Show More, and check the Landmark Wikia, which I have been updating like a total geek, for any changes in the information after August. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.